He finally had his father. He finally had the one thing he had always been missing, and then General Hospital ripped it all away in the most devastating twist of the year. If you have been watching General Hospital lately and you are not emotionally wrecked by what is happening with young James West, then you might want to check your pulse. Because the storyline surrounding this little boy, played with remarkable natural ability by Gary James Fuller, has quietly become one of the most emotionally loaded and dramatically rich arcs on daytime television right now. And with the bombshell that dropped on March 31st, 2026, everything just got exponentially more complicated, more heartbreaking, and more compelling than anyone could have predicted. Let's go all the way back to where this story truly begins. James West has never had a simple life, at least not by Port Charles standards. Born to Maxie Jones and Detective Nathan West, James came into the world already carrying the weight of tragedy. His father, Nathan, was shot in the chest by his own villainous father, Cassius Faison, while heroically trying to rescue a very pregnant Maxie, who Faison was holding hostage. Nathan fought hard, but he didn't survive. He died at General Hospital, leaving behind a wife, an unborn child, and a community that adored him. James was born into a world where his father was already gone. He never got to look his dad in the eyes. He never got to play catch or share a meal or hear Nathan's voice say his name. From the very beginning, James West grew up knowing only the ghost of who his father was. The stories, the photographs, the love that the people around him carried for a man he never got the chance to know. And so James built his life around the people who showed up for him. Spinelli, the devoted and lovably eccentric Damien Spinelli, became a steady presence in James's life as he and Maxie rebuilt their relationship and became a family unit. Then there was Cody Bell, who came into the picture and became that cool, fun, slightly chaotic father figure that James clearly gravitated toward. For a young boy who had grown up without his biological dad, Cody represented something real and present. Someone who showed up, who made him laugh, who treated him like he mattered. James had carved out a version of family in Port Charles that worked, even if it was unconventional, even if there was always an absence at the center of it. And then, on September 19th, 2025, Nathan West came back from the dead. The shock that rippled through Port Charles was enormous. DNA was tested. Fingerprints were matched. The results came back confirming what seemed impossible. This man was Nathan West, alive after 7 years, found in a crashed car on the side of a road, somehow surviving what everyone believed had killed him. Most of the people in his life accepted the news with a flood of relief and emotion. Nathan got his job back at the Port Charles Police Department. He began rebuilding connections. He started to settle back into the fabric of the community as though he had never left. But for one person in particular, this return meant something completely different from everyone else. For James, it wasn't just news. It wasn't just a reunion. It was the answer to a question that had defined his entire existence. His father was alive. In true James West fashion, he didn't wait for the adults to decide when the right moment was. He snuck into Nathan's hospital room himself, sodas in hand, ready to sit down with a dad he had never gotten to meet. That image alone, this small, determined boy walking into that room with drinks, ready to finally have the conversation he had been waiting his whole life for, was the kind of television moment that reminds you why people have been watching this show for decades. The two of them bonded almost immediately. The question hanging over this entire arc is whether James's pure, uncomplicated love for the man he believes is his father could be the thing that ultimately cracks Cassius open and redirects him away from Sidwell's agenda. That's not a small question. That is the kind of question that drives a storyline for months. And the pressure is already building. In the April 27th, 2026 episode, Sidwell himself approached James directly outside of Bobby's, while the young boy was dressed for karate class. The encounter was loaded with tension beneath a surface that appeared casual. Sidwell made comments to James about a lethal move, suggesting the boy learned it from his father, playing with the irony of a situation he controls completely. Cassius was present during the exchange and made it immediately clear that he would not allow Sidwell anywhere near James. Whatever Cassius's mission in Port Charles originally was, there is now something protective and genuine in how he responds when James is in the picture. Whether that instinct is strong enough to override everything else is the central dramatic question of what comes next. Meanwhile, Liesl Obrecht, Nathan's mother and therefore someone with a deeply personal stake in all of this, appears to be completely in the dark about what Britt knows and what the truth actually is. The moment that reality lands on Liesl is going to be an explosion. The betrayal, the grief, the fury, all of it aimed at a situation that is as complicated as anything this show has constructed in recent memory. And at the heart of all of it is a 10-year-old boy from Las Vegas.